Look, let me know if this sounds familiar. You finally decide to be responsible with money. You start saving. You cut back a little. You skip a few things you want. And after weeks, maybe months, you check your bank account and you think, wait, this is it? Because honestly, it doesn't feel better. It doesn't feel safer. It just feels like you're working harder for nothing. And that exact feeling is why most people quit saving. But here's the thing. Saving money is supposed to feel pointless at first. And today, I want to explain why and the exact moment when that suddenly changes. My name is Mike, and I spend way too much time thinking about personal finance and why smart people still feel stressed about money. If you think this stuff is interesting and well explained, consider to like and subscribe to the channel. If you're someone who tries to save, tries to do the right thing financially, but still feels like you're not getting ahead, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because once you understand this, saving money finally starts to make sense. Here's what most people don't realize. Saving money has the worst reward system of almost anything you can do. When you spend money, you get an immediate payoff. Food, comfort, convenience, fun, dopamine, right now. When you save money, nothing happens. No lifestyle upgrade, no visible progress, no emotional reward. You're giving something up today for a vague promise that future you might benefit. And your brain absolutely hates that. In fact, according to behavioral psychology research, humans heavily discount future rewards. $1 today literally feels more valuable than $1 tomorrow, even if tomorrow's dollar is objectively smarter. That's why saving $500 feels painful. But spending $500 on something dumb somehow feels fine. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Mike, but shouldn't saving still feel somewhat good? Not at first, and here's why. Think about pushing a broken down car. At the beginning, you're pushing as hard as you can, sweating, straining, and the car doesn't move at all. Same effort, same force, zero visible progress. But if you keep pushing, eventually, the car starts to roll. And once it's moving, it takes way less effort to keep it going. Saving money works the exact same way. The first $1,000 is brutally hard. The first $5,000 feels slow. The first $10,000 still doesn't feel life-changing because you're overcoming inertia. And most people quit right before the car starts moving. Let's look at real numbers. Say you manage to save $200 a month. That's $2,400 per year. Now compare that to your income. If you make $60,000 a year, $2,400 feels tiny. It's 4% of your income. So your brain says, this isn't worth the effort. But here's the mistake. You're comparing savings to income instead of comparing savings to problems. And this is where it gets really interesting. Saving money doesn't change your life when it hits some magical number. It changes your life when it absorbs a real shock. Let me give you an example. Your car breaks down. Repair costs $900. If you don't have savings, that's a crisis. Credit card, stress, payments for months. If you do have savings, it's annoying, but it's over. That's the moment saving stops feeling pointless. Not because you're rich, but because money finally does what it's supposed to do. It buys you control, and control feels incredible. Here's another thing most people get wrong. They think, I'll feel better once I have a lot saved. But psychologically, the biggest shift happens early. According to surveys from the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. That means having just $1,000 saved already puts you ahead of a massive percentage of people. Not wealthy, but resilient. And resilience is what reduces financial stress. Saving isn't about becoming rich. It's about stopping money from controlling your emotions. This is the part nobody talks about. Saving money changes who you are before it changes your net worth. You stop reacting. You start choosing. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" you ask, "Is this worth it?" And once that shift happens, everything else gets easier. Budgeting, investing, long-term planning, because you're no longer desperate. You're intentional. So to recap, saving feels pointless because rewards are delayed. Your brain fights it. Progress is invisible at first. But once savings absorb a real problem, stress drops, control increases, and momentum kicks in. If this helped you see saving differently, subscribe for more simple, realistic explanations about money, and check out the next video in this playlist.